You are listening to Wild HOA Situations. I wish this was exaggerated. You are not going to outsmart the policy, the woman shouts, jabbing her finger at my contractor. Karen demanded the contractor leave and shouted that if he stayed, she would call law enforcement for trespass. I step between them, hands up, keys jingling on the carabiner clipped to my belt. The wind picks up and her scarf flaps like a warning flag. This is Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Prairie Crossing Design Review Association territory, where deadlines change depending on who is being targeted. I am a data analyst who tracks patterns and timelines, and I have been watching this HOA for 8 months. 3 fence panels came down in last week's storm. The wood splintered clean through, posts still solid. My contractor arrived at 7 this morning because his schedule is tight, and if Karen stops the work, we pay a cancellation fee. Now Karen Martinez, gate access administrator who abuses codes, stands in my yard with a clipboard in a clear sleeve, waving it like a weapon. I keep my voice steady. This is storm damage repair. The guidelines say emergency repairs do not need pre-approval. She cuts me off. Repairs also need approval. This conversation is not a debate, it is a directive. I pull out my phone and show her the email from the management company. It says structural repairs under 10 linear feet are exempt during the first 30 days after a weather event. We are at day 6. She does not even look at the screen. Your paperwork is cute. Mine has a letterhead. She snaps. She turns to the contractor. If you proceed, the association will file a stop work complaint with the city, and you will be liable for the fine. The contractor, a guy named Miguel, who has been doing fences in Milwaukee for 15 years, glances at me. He has another job at noon. If he leaves now, I pay him the cancellation fee and the broken fence stays open. I am rebuilding my finances after a bad year, and I cannot absorb bogus fees. The stakes are real. I take a breath. We are starting the work. If you want to file a complaint, go ahead. Karen pulls out a megaphone. Yes, a megaphone. She keeps it in her car for moments like this. She clicks it on and the feedback screech makes Miguel wince. Attention Prairie Crossing residents, she announces, turning toward the street. Unapproved construction is occurring at Lot 73. The Design Review Association has not issued a permit for this work. 2 neighbors step onto their porches. One films on her phone. Karen clicks the megaphone off and walks back to me. You have 1 hour to dismantle your setup, she says. After that, I am calling code enforcement and having your truck towed. Miguel looks at me. I nod. Start the work, I tell him. Karen's face goes red. She storms to her car, a white sedan with a Prairie Crossing parking sticker in the window, and speeds off. The scarf trailing from her window looks like a victory banner she has not earned yet. Miguel fires up the saw. The high whine cuts through the morning quiet. I pull the old panels off the frame and stack them by the curb. The wood is cheap pressure-treated pine, same as what came down. The posts are still plumb. This is a straightforward patch job. 15 minutes later, a Prairie Crossing security patrol truck pulls up. Not actual police, just a contractor the HOA hires for evening rounds. The driver, a younger guy in a polo shirt, walks over. He looks uncomfortable. Ma'am called and said there is unpermitted work happening, he says. I show him my phone again. Same email, same exemption language. He reads it, nods, and shrugs. I am just the messenger. She told me to document it. He takes a photo of the work site with his phone, waves, and leaves. Miguel keeps cutting. I hold the new panels steady while he lines up the brackets. The bright midday light makes the fresh wood and hardware pop. Everything looks clean and square. We are making good time. At 8:30, My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. It is a photo of a certified letter. The image is blurry, but I can make out the Prairie Crossing logo at the top. The text below says, "Violation notice sent. You have been assessed a $500 fine for unauthorized construction. A second offense will result in a lien." I screenshot the text and forward it to my personal email. Then I text back, "Who is this?" No response. Miguel finishes the first panel and moves to the second. I am holding the level against the rail when I hear an engine. A tow truck rolls down the street, slow and deliberate. The driver stops in front of my house and idles. He does not get out. He just sits there, engine running, watching us. Miguel notices. "That for me?" he asks. I walk over to the truck. The driver rolls down his window. He is an older guy with a Prairie Crossing vendor badge clipped to his visor. "You here to tow my contractor?" I ask. He looks past me at Miguel's truck. "Lady called," he says. "Said there is an illegally parked commercial vehicle blocking access." Miguel's truck is in my driveway. It is not blocking anything. I point this out. The driver nods. "Yeah, I see that." He sighs. "Look, she calls me a lot. Half the time it is not a real violation. I just have to show up and log it, or she complains to my dispatcher." I lean on the door. "How often does she call you?" He laughs, but it is not a happy sound. "Twice a week, easy. She has me tow cars from guest spots, contractor trucks, delivery vans. I get a flat fee per call whether I hook up or not, so I show up. But man, she is exhausting." This is useful. I ask him if he would be willing to give a statement about the pattern. He hesitates, then nods. "If it comes to that, yeah. I am tired of being her enforcement arm." He drives off. Miguel finishes the second panel. We are halfway done. At 9, Karen is back. She parks on the street this time and gets out holding a manila folder. She marches up to Miguel and shoves the folder at him. "This is a cease and desist order from the Prairie Crossing Design Review Association," she says. "If you continue working, you will be named in a lawsuit for tortious interference." Miguel does not touch the folder. He looks at me. I step in and take it. Inside is a single sheet of paper. It is not a legal document. It is a printed email from Karen to herself, CCing the management company, saying that she is ordering work to stop pending board review. There is no board signature. No attorney letterhead. Just Karen's personal email address at the bottom. "This is not a cease and desist," I say. "This is you sending yourself an email." She ignores me and turns back to Miguel. "If you value your contractor's license, you will leave now." Miguel looks at me. I nod. Keep going. Karen pulls out her phone and dials. "I am calling the police," she announces. "You are trespassing and refusing a lawful order." She puts the call on speaker. The dispatcher answers. "Prairie Crossing. What is your emergency?" "I need an officer at Lot 73, Karen says. "There is a contractor performing illegal construction, and the homeowner is refusing to comply with association rules." The dispatcher asks if anyone is in danger. Karen hesitates. "No, but this is a violation of our covenants." "Ma'am, that is a civil matter," the dispatcher says. "We cannot enforce HOA rules. If you believe there is a code violation, you need to contact the city." Karen ends the call and glares at me. "Fine. I will contact the city." She leaves again. Miguel exhales and wipes his forehead. Man, she is relentless. We finish the third panel by 9:30. The The fence looks perfect. Same height, same style, same posts. You would never know 3 panels came down unless you were looking for the fresh wood color. I pay Miguel in cash and add an extra $50 for the hassle. He loads his tools and drives off. I stand in the yard and take photos of the finished work from every angle. Then I measure the height with a tape measure. 6 feet, same as the rest of the fence. I measure the setback from the property line. 18 inches, same as the original installation. I document everything. At 10, I get an email from the Prairie Crossing Management Company. The subject line says, "Violation notice. Immediate action required." The body of the email lists 3 charges: unauthorized construction, failure to submit design review application, and obstruction of HOA enforcement activity. The fine total is $1,500, due in 10 days. I forward the email to my personal lawyer, a guy named Aaron who handled my home purchase. He calls me 20 minutes later. "This is aggressive," he says. "Do you have the exemption in writing?" I send him the email from the management company that I showed Karen. He reads it and laughs. "Yeah, you are covered. They are contradicting their own policy." I will draft a response. I ask him about the obstruction charge. He says it is nonsense. You cannot obstruct someone who has no authority to stop you in the first place. I hang up and sit on the back deck. The new fence panels gleam in the midday sun. Everything is square and solid. I did nothing wrong. But Karen is not going to stop. That night, I get a knock on the door. It is a process server. He hands me an envelope and leaves. Inside is a formal notice of a design review board hearing scheduled for 2 weeks from now. The notice says I am required to appear and explain the unauthorized work. Failure to appear will result in automatic escalation of fines and potential legal action. I text Aaron. He replies immediately, "Attend. Bring all your documentation." This is their effort to create a paper trail. I start building my case. I pull the original storm damage photos from my phone. I download the weather report from the National Weather Service showing the wind gusts that night. I print the email exemption. I write a timeline with timestamps for every interaction with Karen. I gather the text message with the blurry fine notice, the fake cease and desist, and the process server envelope. Then I remember the tow truck driver. I text him using the number on his business card. He agrees to write a statement. 2 days later, he emails me a signed letter describing the pattern of calls from Karen, including dates and times. He notes that most of the vehicles she reported were legally parked and that he felt pressured to participate in harassment. If you are enjoying this story, please hit the like button and subscribe for more wild HOA drama. I also reach out to the dog walker who filmed Karen's megaphone stunt. She lives 3 houses down and walks her golden retriever past my place every morning. She agrees to send me the video. It is perfect. Karen is in full frame, megaphone raised, announcing the fake violation to the neighborhood. Her voice is clear and her words are unmistakable. Unapproved construction is occurring at Lot 73. I save the video and add it to my file. Aaron reviews everything and says it is solid. You have proof that the work was exempt, proof that she exceeded her authority, and proof that she engaged in harassment. Bring it all to the hearing. The next week drags. I go to work, I come home, I look at the fence. It is just a fence. 3 panels. 6 feet tall. Tan wood. Nothing special. But to Karen, it is a symbol of defiance. On day 10, I get another text from the unknown number. This time it is a photo of my fence with a red circle drawn around one of the new panels. The text says, "Height violation, Confirmed. Panel exceeds 6-foot limit. Prepare for additional fines. I grab my tape measure and go outside. I measure every panel. They are all exactly 6 feet. I measure the posts. I measure the rails. Everything is identical to the rest of the fence. I text back measured. All panels, 6 feet. Send your data. No response. The hearing is set for Thursday evening at 6. The location is the Prairie Crossing Clubhouse, a squat brick building near the community pool. I arrived 10 minutes early with a leather folder containing all my documentation. Erin is with me. We sit in the lobby and wait. Karen arrives at 6 on the dot. She is wearing the same red blazer, same sleek ponytail, same scarf. She is carrying a 3-ring binder. She sees me and smiles. It is not a friendly smile. The hearing room is a small conference space with a long table and folding chairs. 3 board members sit on one side, a retired accountant named Donald, a nurse named Patricia, and a younger guy named Mark who works in tech. Karen sits at the end of the table, clipboard ready. Donald opens the meeting. This is a design review board hearing regarding alleged violations at Lot 73. Homeowner is present with counsel. Miss Martinez, please present your case. Karen stands and opens her binder. On June 8th, the homeowner at Lot 73 commenced construction of a new fence without submitting a design review application. I observed the activity and issued a verbal stop work order. The homeowner refused to comply. The contractor proceeded with installation despite clear HOA policy requiring pre-approval for all exterior modifications. She flips a page. I documented the violation with photographic evidence and witness statements. The homeowner was notified via certified letter of the fine structure. He has failed to pay the assessed penalties and has failed to submit the required application. Aaron raises his hand. May I respond? Donald nods. Aaron stands and places the printed email on the table. The Prairie Crossing guidelines, as communicated by your management company, state that emergency repairs under 10 linear feet following a weather event are exempt from pre-approval for 30 days. The storm occurred on June 2nd. My client began repairs on June 8th, well within the exemption window. The repairs totaled 9 linear feet. He was fully compliant. Karen does not miss a beat. That exemption applies only to structural repairs necessary to prevent further property damage. Cosmetic fence replacement does not qualify. Aaron smiles. The panels were shattered. The property line was exposed. That is structural. Karen pulls out a photo from her binder and slides it across the table. This was taken the morning of June 8th before the contractor arrived. As you can see, the fence was damaged but still standing. No immediate safety hazard existed. I lean forward and look at the photo. It shows my fence. 3 panels are cracked but upright. It looks staged. The angle is wrong. The lighting does not match the early morning timestamp printed in the corner. I pull out my phone and show Aaron the storm damage photos I took on June 2nd. The panels are on the ground, splintered. Posts exposed. The timestamps are clear. Aaron places my photos next to Karen's. The board members lean in. Donald frowns. Miss Martinez, your photo shows the fence standing. The homeowner's photos show it on the ground. Can you explain the discrepancy? Karen does not blink. I took my photo after the homeowner staged the damage to justify his work. The room goes quiet. That is a serious accusation. I take a breath. I took those photos the night of the storm, I say. The metadata will confirm it. I can send the original files to any third party you want. Karen taps her binder. Metadata can be altered. Aaron cuts in. Miss Martinez, Are you accusing my client of fabricating evidence? She shrugs. I am saying his timeline is inconsistent with observable facts. Mark, the tech guy, speaks up. Can we see the original files? I pull out my laptop, open the photo folder, and show the properties panel. The creation timestamps are June 2nd, between 8 and 9 p.m. The location data shows my address. I turn the screen toward Mark. He nods. That looks legit. Karen's jaw tightens. Fine. Even if the damage was real, the homeowner did not follow the notification protocol. He should have informed the board before proceeding. Aaron flips to another page in his folder. Your management company was notified via the online portal on June 3rd. Here is the confirmation email. He places it on the table. Karen does not look at it. Donald clears his throat. It appears the homeowner followed all applicable procedures. Miss Martinez, do you have any evidence that the work violated the guidelines? Karen opens her binder again. She pulls out a second photo. This one shows a close-up of one of my new fence panels with a tape measure held against it. The tape reads 6 feet 2 inches. There it is, she says. Height violation. The guidelines specify a 6-foot maximum. I pull my tape measure from my pocket. I measured every panel myself. They are all 6 feet. I have photos. Karen smiles. Then one of us is wrong. Aaron stands. I propose we recess and conduct an on-site measurement right now. We can walk to lot 73 and settle this in 5 minutes. The board members exchange glances. Donald nods. Agreed. We will reconvene at the property. We all walk out to the parking lot. The sun is low but still bright. The short walk to my house takes 3 minutes. Karen leads the way, binder tucked under her arm like a briefcase. We gather in my backyard. The fence stands clean and square in the evening light. Donald pulls out his own tape measure. He walks to the first new panel and measures from the ground to the top rail. 6 feet exactly. He moves to the second panel. 6 feet. Third panel. 6 feet. He turns to Karen. Miss Martinez, your photo shows 6 feet 2 inches. Can you explain that? Karen pulls out her phone and takes a new photo. She holds the tape measure at an angle, pressing the bottom end into the grass so it sinks slightly. The top of the tape now reads 6 feet 2 inches. She shows the screen to Donald. It depends on where you measure from. Mark steps forward. That is not how you measure a fence. You measure from grade level, not from a divot in the grass. Karen's face hardens. I measured accurately. Patricia, the nurse, speaks for the first time. Miss Martinez, this feels like a reach. The fence is clearly compliant. Karen turns to me. You moved the property line. These panels are encroaching on the easement. I blink. What? She points to the base of the fence. The original fence was 18 inches from the property line. Yours is only 12. I pull out my setback measurements. I show the board the photos with the tape measure clearly marking 18 inches from the property stake to the fence post. The stake is still there, a small orange flag poking out of the ground near the back corner. Aaron walks over to the stake and kneels down. This is the surveyor's mark from the original plat. It has not moved. Karen follows him. She pulls the stake out of the ground and holds it up. This is not the original stake. Someone replaced it. Mark laughs. Are you serious? Karen does not laugh. I am saying the property line has been tampered with. Donald sighs. Miss Martinez, this is getting absurd. We have measurements, photos, and the original survey documents. The fence is compliant. Karen's voice rises. The fence is a violation. The homeowner bypassed the process. He intimidated my enforcement efforts. This conversation is not a debate. It is a directive. The same line she used on Miguel. I hear it, and something clicks. I pull out my phone and open the dog walker video. I hold it up so everyone can see. Before we finish, I say, I want the board to see this. I press play. Karen's voice booms from the megaphone. Unapproved construction is occurring at Lot 73. The Design Review Association has not issued a permit for this work. The board members watch in silence. When the video ends, Donald looks at Karen. Miss Martinez, did you use a megaphone to announce a violation to the neighborhood? Karen crosses her arms. I was notifying residents of non-compliant activity. Patricia shakes her head. That is harassment. Karen's face flushes. I was enforcing the rules. Mark cuts in. You were creating a public spectacle. That is not enforcement. That is intimidation. Donald closes his folder. I think we have seen enough. This hearing is concluded. The board finds no violation. The work was compliant with the emergency repair exemption. The fines are vacated. Karen opens her mouth to protest, but Donald raises his hand. Furthermore, the board will be reviewing your conduct as gate access administrator. Using a megaphone to shame a homeowner is unacceptable. We walk back to the clubhouse. Aaron shakes my hand. You did well. Karen storms to her car without a word. The scarf trailing behind her looks defeated now. I drive home feeling lighter. The fines are gone. The fence is cleared. But I know this is not over. Karen does not lose gracefully. 2 days later, I get a call from the management company. The regional supervisor, a woman named Linda, wants to meet. I agree. We sit in her office the following Monday. Linda is in her 50s. Gray hair in a neat bun, glasses perched on her nose. She opens a file on her desk. Mr. Harris, I want to apologize for the confusion around your fence repair. It is clear you followed the guidelines. Unfortunately, Miss Martinez exceeded her authority in several areas. I nod. I appreciate that. Linda continues. We have received complaints about her conduct from multiple homeowners. The megaphone incident was the final straw. The board has asked me to intervene. She pauses. I want to ask you about something else. We recently discovered that Miss Martinez submitted a photo to our office claiming your fence was installed at 6 feet 2 inches. When we compared it to the site visit measurements, the discrepancy was obvious. Do you have any documentation that might explain how she obtained that photo? I pull out my file. I show her the photo Karen presented at the hearing, the tape measure angled into the grass. I explain how Mark called it out as improper measurement technique. Linda examines the photo. Then she opens her laptop and pulls up an email chain. This is interesting, she says. 3 weeks ago, Miss Martinez contacted one of our approved vendors and requested photos of your property. She specifically asked for images that could document code violations. The vendor declined and reported the request to us. She turns the screen toward me. Do you see the date? June 7th. The day before your contractor arrived. I read the email. Karen asked the vendor to photograph my property and emphasize any visible code issues. The vendor replied that he would not participate in targeted enforcement and CC'd Linda. Linda closes the laptop. Miss Martinez was planning to block your repair before it even started. She knew the work was exempt, but she wanted to create a violation anyway. I sit back. So this was premeditated. Linda nods. It gets worse. We also found a text exchange between Miss Martinez and another homeowner. She asked him to file a complaint about your fence on her behalf, offering to waive a parking fine he owed in exchange. He refused and forwarded the text to us. She slides a printed copy across the desk. I read it. Karen's words are clear. If you file a complaint about the fence at 73, I will make your parking ticket disappear. Your paperwork is cute. Mine has a letterhead. The boomerang line. The same phrase she used on me. I took the fine notice without flinching, because I knew what it would trigger. I knew Karen would overreach eventually, and when she did, she would leave a trail. Linda taps the printout. This is solicitation of false complaints. It is a serious breach of fiduciary duty. The board is terminating her role as gate access administrator effective immediately. I exhale. What happens next? Linda leans back. The board is placing her on a no-contact directive. She is not allowed to contact you directly or indirectly regarding any HOA matter. If she violates it, we will pursue legal action. Additionally, we are conducting an audit of all violation notices she has issued in the past year. If we find a pattern of abuse, we will refer the matter to our legal team. She pauses. There is one more thing. We are scheduling a public meeting next month to address concerns about enforcement procedures. The board wants to hear from homeowners who feel they have been unfairly targeted. I would like you to attend and share your experience. I agree. Linda gives me the date and location. The public meeting happens 4 weeks later. The clubhouse is packed. 30 homeowners show up, more than I have ever seen at an HOA event. Karen is not there. The board sits at the front table, Donald in the center. Donald opens the meeting. We are here tonight to discuss enforcement practices and to hear from residents. We have received multiple complaints about inconsistent application of rules and about conduct by one of our administrators. We take these concerns seriously. He invites anyone with a complaint to speak. A man in his 60s stands. He describes how Karen had his daughter's car towed from a guest spot even though guest parking was available and the visit was under the 48-hour limit. He paid $300 to retrieve the car. A woman in her 40s speaks next. She talks about Karen issuing a fine for a holiday decoration that stayed up 2 days past the deadline, even though other homes had decorations up for weeks without penalties. Another homeowner describes a kayak storage violation. Karen insisted his kayak rack violated the guidelines, but the guidelines do not mention kayak racks. One by one, they share their stories. The pattern is unmistakable. Karen targeted people selectively, ignored violations by others, and weaponized the rules. When the testimony ends, Donald asks me to speak. I walk to the front and lay out my case. I describe the storm damage, the exemption, the megaphone, the fake height violation, the solicitation of false complaints. I show the dog walker video on the projector. Karen's voice fills the room. When I finish, the room is silent. Then a man in the back starts clapping. Others join. It is not loud or celebratory, it is tired relief. People are exhausted from living under Karen's enforcement regime. Donald thanks me and calls a recess. During the break, the tow truck driver approaches me. He introduces himself as Jim. I wanted you to know, he says, that I gave my statement to the board. They are reviewing every tow request Karen made in the past year. Turns out about 60% of them were bogus. The HOA is issuing refunds. I shake his hand. Thanks for speaking up. Jim nods. She made my job miserable. I am glad it is over. The meeting reconvenes. Donald reads a prepared statement. The board has reviewed the complaints and the evidence. We have concluded that Ms. Karen Martinez abused her authority as gate access administrator. Effective immediately, she has been removed from all HOA leadership roles. She is prohibited from participating in enforcement activities. A no-contact directive has been issued. Any violation will result in legal action. He continues. Additionally, the board is implementing new oversight procedures. All violation notices must be approved by at least 2 board members before being issued. All fines will be reviewed by the management company. We are also establishing a homeowner appeal process. Patricia speaks next. We owe an apology to everyone who was unfairly targeted. The HOA exists to maintain our community, not to harass residents. We failed in that mission, and we are committed to doing better. The room erupts in applause. It is louder this time. After the meeting, several homeowners approach me. They thank me for standing up to Karen. One woman says, "You gave us permission to fight back." I drive home feeling vindicated. The fence stands solid in my backyard, 3 panels of fresh pine glowing under the porch light. It is just a fence. But it is also proof that you can fight City Hall, or at least the HOA version of it. The story does not end there. 2 weeks later, I get a call from Jim, the tow truck driver. He tells me that Karen tried to hire him privately to tow a neighbor's car from a public street. He recorded the call and sent it to Linda. The HOA is now pursuing a restraining order. A month after that, the board elections happen. Donald runs unopposed and wins. Patricia steps down due to work commitments, and a new member joins, the woman who filmed the megaphone video. She campaigns on transparency and wins by a landslide. The following spring, the management company sends an email to all residents. The subject line reads Vendor Relationship Update. The body explains that the HOA has terminated its contract with a photography vendor after discovering that the vendor agreed to stage violation photos for a former administrator. The email does not name Karen, but everyone knows. The funny karma beat comes 6 months later. The board schedules a routine audit of HOA records. During the audit, they discover that Karen submitted a reimbursement request for the megaphone, claiming it was a necessary enforcement tool. The board denies the reimbursement and sends a correction email retracting the smear, noting that personal amplification devices are not approved HOA expenses. Karen's own clip proves the opposite of her claim. The video I shared at the meeting becomes part of the official record, cited in the audit report as evidence of equipment misuse. I hear through the neighborhood grapevine that Karen moved out of Prairie Crossing 3 months later. Her house goes up for sale in July. The listing describes it as a charming home in a quiet community. The irony is not lost on anyone. My fence weathers its first winter without issue. The wood fades to a soft gray that matches the rest of the structure. I stain it in the spring, and it looks brand new again. No one complains. No one measures it. No one pulls out a megaphone. I still see Jim occasionally. He waves when he drives past. He tells me that Prairie Crossing stopped calling him for tow requests altogether. The new enforcement procedures require actual violations, not personal vendettas. The dog walker, whose name is Ellen, becomes a friend. We chat when she passes by on her morning route. Her golden retriever, a goofy boy named Chester, always stops to sniff the fence posts. Ellen jokes that Chester is conducting his own property line inspection. The HOA holds quarterly meetings now, and attendance is high. People actually read the minutes. The transparency measures are working. Violations are still issued, but they are legitimate. No more selective enforcement. No more staged photos. No more megaphones. I keep my file in a drawer in my office. Every few months, I pull it out and flip through the photos, the emails, the statements. It is a reminder that standing up to bullies works, even when the bully has a clipboard and a megaphone and a 3-ring binder full of fake rules. The fence is still there. 3 panels of pine, 6 feet tall, 18 inches from the property line. It does exactly what a fence is supposed to do. It marks a boundary. It keeps my yard private. It does not bow to bogus violations or manufactured crises. Karen tried to turn a simple repair into a war. She weaponized the rules, intimidated contractors, staged evidence, and recruited others to lie on her behalf. She thought her letterhead and her megaphone made her untouchable. But I had something better. A timeline, a tape measure, and the patience to let her overreach until she buried herself. The real victory was not just clearing my name or vacating the fines. It was watching the system correct itself. The board fired Karen. The management company blacklisted the vendor who helped her. The homeowners rallied and demanded accountability. A vendor blacklists the HOA after Karen is caught ordering staged photos, and the board has to scramble for contractors. The HOA learned that enforcement without integrity is just harassment with a budget. I learned that data analysis skills transfer surprisingly well to HOA combat. Track everything. Document everything. Let the evidence speak. And Karen learned that your paperwork is only cute if it is accurate. Otherwise, it is just expensive kindling. The last time I saw her was at the grocery store, 3 weeks before she moved out. She was in the produce section, picking through avocados. I walked past with my cart. She glanced up, saw me, and looked away fast. No megaphone, no clipboard, no scarf flapping in imaginary wind. Just a middle-aged woman in a red blazer, holding an avocado, trying to pretend I did not exist. I did not say anything. I did not need to. The fence said it for me. The neighborhood is quieter now. The rules are still there, but they are applied fairly. The design review board actually reviews designs instead of inventing violations. The gate access system works without being weaponized. People park in guest spots without fear of phantom tow trucks. Prairie Crossing is not perfect, but it is better. The HOA serves the community instead of terrorizing it. And my fence, those 3 panels of storm-damaged pine that Karen tried to turn into a federal case, stands as proof that sometimes the smallest battles matter the most. Because it was never really about the fence. It was about power. Karen wanted it. I refused to give it. And in the end, the megaphone could not shout louder than the truth. Thanks for watching, and I hope the rest of your day is peaceful.